Thank you very much, Pat. It's a real pleasure and a privilege to be here with you this evening. I sing the praises of Anne Schuchat all the time in private to people at the NIH, to my colleagues at the infectious diseases and global health community. And so it really is a pleasure to finally be able to get the opportunity to say just a few words about Anne in a very public forum with her colleagues. So the offices of this society, in deference and kindness to me, called up my office after I had accepted the privilege of being here with you this evening. And my assistant, who's really terrific, knew that I was doing a lot of traveling this previous week and said, he's really excited about doing this. Could you put down a couple of bullets for him to say? I didn't know that she did that. She's great. So I came back and I looked at the bullets and I said, what do I need bullets to talk about Anne Schuchat, who because the bullets could have been said by anybody, but I think I'm not anybody because I've had a very important privilege and experience. You know, you often hear of the wartime metaphor of when the bombs start falling, who would you like to be in the foxhole with you? Well, I always want to be in the foxhole with Anne Schuchat. Because ever since she joined the Epidemiological Intelligence Service back in 1988, she's a 30-year career person at the CDC, she has manifested most extraordinary qualities. I had the privilege and the experience, which is very unique with Anne, in that we have been through the wars together. And that's what I meant when I told my assistant that I didn't really need any bullets to tell me about Anne Schuchat. So it was anywhere from the H1N1 2009 pandemic flu, to chikungunya, to West Nile, now most recently with Ebola and Zika. So what did we do together that got me to know the kind of person that Anne is and why she overwhelmingly deserves the John P. Utz Leadership Award of the National Foundation of Infectious Diseases? So it goes from the really stressful situations of those amazing conference calls that we are on in Ebola, late at night, on Saturday, on Sunday, with the secretary, without the secretary, happy secretary, angry secretary, trusting secretary, frustrated secretary. So we go from those kinds of conference calls to having to brief virtually every staffer on the Hill, every congressman, every senator, and then finally, the real experience that's just been a joy with Anne is the multiple congressional hearings that we shared together, sitting next to each other. They would call us the Terrible Two. But here's how it would go. A congressman or a senator would say, could any of you tell us a little bit about the status of this outbreak of Ebola or Zika or whatever? Anne would say, I'll take that. And she would give a beautifully articulate, completely factual response to that question. And then another congressman or senator would say, could you tell me how you feel about the fact that the president is going to really cut your budget? She would go, Fauci. You're laughing. Anyway, so you know, I was told I only have a couple of minutes, and that's almost impossible to really tell you a lot about why this is such an extraordinary individual. So if you look at things like from 40,000 feet, there is Anne Schuchat, the public health official, the epidemiologist, the infectious disease person, the physician, and the humanitarian. And the reason why she is both highly respected and loved, everyone has high respect and affection for Anne, because where many people see numbers in outbreaks and statistics, Anne sees people. And that is the thing that really distinguishes her from so many people in the field. She is a true humanitarian. The other thing that is so clear about Anne and why she deserves this award is that the things that we experience during those briefings, those hearings, was a person who has complete command of her field and never wavers for a moment, who has leadership capabilities and such a high degree of control of her field and an understanding of all the nuances that it's a very rare combination. But what about leadership? You know, there's leadership by official title. You could be a CEO, you could be a president, you could be a director. And then there's a different kind of a leadership. It's a leadership by example. And that's what Anne has, the very quiet leadership of example. She's not loud, she's not pushy, she doesn't promote herself, but she's a leader by example. And that's the reason why she's so deserving of this award. And so it gives me great pleasure, privilege, and honor to introduce to you for the John P. Utz Leadership Award, Anne Schuchat.